back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you're interested in more nutrition and health related content, keep watching. So today I'm going to be speaking a little bit about National Nutrition and Obesity Week. It's been National Nutrition and Obesity Week from the 9th to the 19th of October. Is today the last day? Tomorrow's the last day, but since this is the second last day, I thought I would actually just post some content about it, because I mean, how could I not? I'm just going to be tackling a few things. All of the information I'm going to be putting out is according to the National Department of Health and ADSA, and I'm literally just going according to their guidelines, so this is me referencing them. And if you want to know any more information, I have linked a link down below that you can go and read more up on if you would like to know a little bit more. So this year's theme is good nutrition for good immunity, which comes at a time where, you know, we're still experiencing a global pandemic. Nutrition plays a really critical role in our immune system. So just so you know a little bit of stats about the prevalence of overweight and obesity in South Africa, we've gone up from 56% in 1998 to 68% in 2016. So the prevalence of overweight and obesity is rising, and obviously with that comes an increase in chronic diseases or non-communicable diseases. When I speak about these chronic diseases or non-communicable diseases, it's people who've had any heart diseases or strokes, people with any sort of respiratory diseases, people with hypertension, diabetes, and cancer. So we know that there's a link between overweight and obesity to more severe COVID-19 deaths and illness. So people who have any non-communicable diseases are more likely to be more severely ill when or if they do contract the virus. These chronic diseases are quite common. Diabetes is the leading cause of death in women in South Africa. So it's so important to emphasize good nutrition, but nutrition that is obviously culturally appropriate, that's still satisfying and delicious and fits within the budget. And I think that in order to make that more practical, I'll be sharing some quick budgeting tips, basically a summary according to ADSA and all of the partners, which I'm going to link down below. But yeah, I'm just going to dive straight into them. Tip number 1, make sure to look out for sales. There are always sales, especially when there is food items that they're trying to get off of the shelf or that are expiring soon. So make sure to look out for sales whenever you go to the shops, because that will really help you to be able to shop within the budget. Tip number 2, buying in bulk helps a lot. This is something that I really practice quite a bit. I buy all of my beans in bulk, I buy all of my starch in bulk, and it helps so much because it actually lasts so much longer, and sometimes the items in bulk that they do have at the shops are even at a discounted price. Tip number 3, make sure to buy affordable sources of tinned fish. Fish is a really healthy. It's got your omega-3s. These omega-3s are essential fatty acids, so they're super important for your body as you can only get them through food. Have anti-inflammatory properties, so they're really important for your immune system as well. Make sure to buy your pilchards or your tuna, whichever tinned fish that you'd like. Make sure to also have these food items at least twice a week. Make sure to buy a lot of foods that are long lasting, because food waste is a big issue, and that can really cause a dent in your food budget when you've bought a whole bunch of food that ends up going off. There's a lot of fruits and vegetables that can last really long and therefore lead to less food wastage, and they're all really good to support your immune system as well. Yes, tip number, I don't know which number we're on, maybe tip number 4. I mentioned buying dried beans and legumes in bulk. These are actually a really affordable source of protein. So I think a lot of people have started to notice, especially these days, is that meats can be very expensive. So getting alternative protein sources from beans and legumes is a really amazing way to still get in protein and also plenty of fiber. And what I love about beans and legumes is you can use them in such a wide variety of dishes. You can make a salad, you can make a curry, you can make a soup to make the protein content of the soup much better. So there's a lot you can do with beans and legumes, and I think it's so important for us to all start including a lot more plant-based sources of protein in our diet, because our guts will thank us for it. Tip number 5, you can eat eggs. If you enjoy eggs, you should go for them. They're a great source of protein, and they're also an affordable source of protein, just like the legumes and the beans. Make your eggs how you like them. If you like them fried, obviously don't add too much oil. If you like them boiled, if you like them poached, if you like in an omelette, you can enjoy eggs the way that you like to enjoy them, because they are really a good source of protein. Okay, now I think a lot of people tend to wonder if they can actually eat canned veggies or canned food items, because those are actually a lot of the time very cheap. And in this time of the pandemic, a lot of us actually switched to buying canned food items because they're a lot more sustainable. I think it's just important with canned food items to rinse or get rid of the brine. So be conscious of what fluid the food items have been soaked in, and make sure to rinse it out. For example, if you had tuna in brine, or if you had vegetables in brine, to get rid of that brine and to rinse it out, because brine is kind of like a salt solution. So by rinsing off the excess brine and draining it out, you're going to be making sure that you're also eating a lot less salt, which is also really good for your health and reducing your risk of getting chronic diseases like hypertension. Frozen foods can also be very cost effective, because we know fresh foods finish quite quickly. So frozen foods or frozen vegetables can be something that lasts, something that you can add. When they freeze those actual foods, they usually get them when they're the freshest, and the process that they use to freeze those food items is one that helps them to still keep their nutrients. So you can definitely still eat frozen vegetables, and they're still healthy and can sometimes be very, very affordable. Also, another thing that I do want to say is you don't need to buy these quote unquote like health foods to be healthy. As dietitians, we all promote eating whole foods, going to local vendors. That's the best way to make sure that you're not spending as much on your grocery list, and also just making sure that you're buying seasonal fruits and veg, because those are always way more affordable. You don't need to eat quinoa to be healthy if it's not within your budget. You don't need to eat couscous if couscous isn't within your budget. You can be very healthy with what you have. And also remember, some of these health items that say they're reduced or reduced fat or reduced sugar, they sometimes compensate in other ways. So they'll add a lot more salt to make it still have some flavor, or maybe add a lot more fat if it's a reduced salt, like vice versa. So just be aware of those things if you're someone who is conscious of labels. I think when it comes to label reading, I'm very much pro wanting to choose the healthier option if it's not going to make you obsess over it. It's good to be aware of what you're putting in your body. If you're someone who is interested in label reading and would like to have more videos on that kind of content, please do let me know. I just am very cautious about speaking a lot of things about label reading, because it can very much, for some people, tend to go towards sort of obsessing over what's in your food items rather than just being aware and mindful of it. When it comes to choosing healthier food items when you're going shopping, I think we're in a day and age where we live a fast life. We like to have things ready there and there. So I think a lot of people do tend to buy ready-made meals, and just be aware that those meals tend to have a lot of salt and a lot of fat, and yeah, to try and limit having ready-made meals, because the time that you could have put that meal in the oven is the same time that you could have used to make a quick meal with the food items that you have available in your cupboard. Not to say that you can't or you shouldn't have ready-made meals, but they shouldn't be something that you have necessarily all of the time. For example, instead of buying ready-made meals, prepare your own food yourself. Put some of it in the freezer for those days where you really don't have time or you're too tired to cook. Freezing the meals yourself and freezing and portioning them out can be a really easy and helpful way for you to still eat a more or less healthier diet in a short amount of time. But another thing that really helps when you're going grocery shopping is to make a list. I know it's something very simple, but making a list and sort of planning the kinds of meals that you want to eat that week can be really helpful for you to sort of prevent you from overspending. So if you know that you're going to be making 3 meals that you're going to eat throughout the week, maybe that are meal prep for 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, or 2 meals for 3 days and then for another 3 days, that can be really, really helpful to, make sure that you're buying those food items that you actually need for the meals you'll be preparing for the week. And that way you will actually end up spending a lot less. So the National Nutrition and Obesity Week, they compiled an amazing shopping list and a sort of meal plan or menu plan as sort of like an example of what you could do with your week, which is so helpful. I hope that you guys will enjoy that. I'm going to link it down below so that you can have a look at that. And yeah. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of our first National Nutrition and Obesity Week video. I hope you really enjoy this, and I hope that you've enjoyed some of the content that I've posted about National Nutrition and Obesity Week on my socials. I will be posting a lot today and tomorrow to catch up. So I hope you enjoy that as well, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and click on that notification button to get a notification every time that I post, and I'll see you in the next video.